These are the plaintiffs, Priscilla and Robert Evans. Priscilla says her ex-step-granddaughter, the defendant, purchased their Jeep, paid a portion of the price, has the car, and refuses to pay the rest. The defendant also killed one of their cats, and another cat's lucky to be alive. Nothing they do is convincing them to pay up, so they're suing for the $1,848.48 they're owed. These are the defendants, Raven Cook and Patrick Hogan. Raven says the plaintiffs got wind of some extra money she'd come into and started saying they owed more for the car when the car had already been paid for in full. As far as their pet goes, the house they cat sat for them in was filthy, disgusting, and the cat was sickly to begin with. They did nothing wrong and don't owe the scheming plaintiffs a penny. They're accused of taking the cheap way out.
Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Priscilla and Robert Evans?
Yes.
You are suing Raven Cook and Patrick Hogan for $1,848.48 in damages that you say have occurred through either or both of their negligence or failure to pay debts. What is your relationship with her?
Raven is my daughter's stepdaughter.
Your daughter's stepdaughter. Okay. Yes. Have you known her for a long time?
Approximately 10 years.
Okay. Now, at some point in time, she came to you to buy a car from you, correct?
No. She was looking to purchase a car, and I mentioned to her father that we were thinking about selling our Jeep. And Raven had told me she was not interested in purchasing the Jeep. So I went ahead and listed the car. And at that point, her father called me and asked me if I had sold the car, and I said no, because I had just listed it. In fact, I was still on
So the father was interested, even though she wasn't all that interested.
She wasn't. She wanted.
So I guess he talked her into it.
Yes.
So who did you negotiate the price with, the father or Raven? How old are you, Raven?
I'm 18 right now.
18. Okay. At the time that this happened, she was how old? 17?
16.
16. Okay. Who did you negotiate the price with? Obviously her father.
The father.
Okay. And the price was how much?
$4,000.
$4,000. And now on the day of the actual transfer of the car, what happened?
Her father told my daughter to bring me a check for $3,000, at which point I mentioned to my daughter that the car was $4,000, and she said she didn't know anything about it, that her husband had called and said bring a check over from their savings account.
And so what did you do?
So I called her father, and he told me that he had told Raven to hold back $1,000 of the money her grandmother had given her for insurance.
Okay. And therefore what?
So
you negotiate with the father, who's the only grown-up in the negotiations. You negotiate with the father that they're going to owe you another $1,000.
That's correct.
So you work out with her that in return for pet sitting, she would slowly work off the debt of the $1,000.
Yes.
All right. Now, this gentleman is who? Her boyfriend?
Yes.
And when we talk about the pets, how many pets are we talking about?
We're talking 6 cats and a parrot.
6 cats and a parrot, and a partridge in a pear tree. All right. Now, tell me what happened. The trip we're talking about now that you end up taking is a trip that was going to last how long?
A month.
All right. And they're supposed to be watching the pets. What happens when you come home from the trip?
Well, prior to leaving, I had left instructions for Raven and met with both Raven and Patrick and went over things that we wanted done and left people for them to call in the event that
Do you have the instructions with you that you left for them?
Yes, I do.
It's 5 pages of single-space typed notes.
That's
with
correct.
instructions on exactly what needs to be done, including like particular pets, Willow, Andy Newman, Mr. Peepers, Fuzzy, and Annie. Okay, and you leave town, you come home, and what happens?
Well, when we got to the door, the top lock was locked, and I had left instructions not to lock that because it jammed. And the cats were all meowing very loudly. We could hear it from outside. And Bob went around the back and went in to let us in. And when he came to the front door and opened it from the inside, he said, "Wait till you see the house." And I have a lot of stuff in my house, I admit, and so I thought, well, what does he mean? So when I got in, there was hair everywhere.
Cat hair?
Cat hair. And the cats were very, very thin. One cat, Newman, was missing. And I kept calling for Newman. I called Raven, and I told her that Newman was missing. And she didn't answer her cell phone.
Did you come home earlier than expected?
No, ma'am.
Okay, go on.
And we checked the bird. There was no food in the bowls. There was no water in the bowls. Bob went down to...
With reference to the bird, there's a newspaper on the bottom of the cage, correct?
That's correct.
Had it been changed?
No, it had not.
How do you know?
Because the date was the same.
Okay. So Bob starts looking around the house, and Bob, what do you
He
find?
said he went down to check the litter boxes to see if the litter boxes had been changed at all. And when he went down...
Can Bob talk?
Yeah,
Okay.
when
Bob,
he went,
what did you find?
when I went downstairs, I looked around and I checked the litter boxes, and the litter boxes were just full of urine and
Like they hadn't been
feces,
changed
like
in
they
some
hadn't
time.
been changed at all. And I looked around, I called for Newman, and I looked, and I finally found him. He was there laying on the floor.
That's what he said. He found Newman.
Okay.
And Newman was dead.
Deceased?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have any indication how long Newman had been deceased?
He
Well,
was soft.
We figure at least a week anyway.
He was past rigor mortis. He was very soft. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm very sorry about Newman. How long had you had Newman?
About
We've had him several
a
years.
couple of years, yeah.
Did the vet ever tell you what caused Newman's death?
We didn't take him with the dead cat to the vet. We called the it was pretty bad. He'd
was
been there
pointless.
for quite a while.
Yeah, it was pointless.
So
Okay.
I just carried him out to the garage and put him in a box and had him cremated.
Okay. How were the other pets?
Very sick. The house was totally infested with fleas, and one of our cats I've had over 11 years, our animals have never had fleas in their lives. And the next day, another cat was missing, and he didn't come up to eat, and Bob was calling him, and we could hear him, but we couldn't see where he was. And then I said, well, he'll come up to eat. And then that following morning, Monday morning, I was still in bed, and he told me, he said, I found Andy, and he was unconscious.
The cat?
Yes.
He carried him upstairs, and he was limp, and I said, get me water, and I practically gave the cat mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, forced water into him, and I said, and I wasn't even dressed, I said, we got to get him to the vets, and I called the vets, and the cremation people were on their way to pick up Newman, and so I was with a syringe, I was getting water into him and kind of pressing on his heart to keep him alive, and I took him over to the vets, and he was very thin, and he was anemic from flea infestation.
Had you, in your instructions, it talks about the flea treatment that the cats were supposed to be getting because it was such a long amount of time, correct? Raven, what is going on?
First of all, her saying she has a lot of stuff in her house, that's kind of an understatement.
That she what?
That she has a lot of stuff in her house is an understatement. She's a hoarder, so, I mean, it's like floor to ceiling. There's pathways to walk through. There's like a whole room that you can't even get into because it's just, like, you can open the door a little bit, and then it's just like the rest of the room is packed with stuff. So we went over every day. As you can tell, she was really, really super particular.
Yeah, she prefers her pets not die when she's gone and they're in your care.
We fed them.
Come on up. Come on up.
We fed them every day. Like, we would just go and leave the food out. They had like a big bowl of like dry food and a big bowl of water, and then she had wet food that we were all supposed to give them. So we would leave out the food for them to eat, but like, when you walk in, they don't know us, so they would just scatter and go and hide in all of the stuff in her house. So we didn't go trying to find them because it would take you all day to find them. So we just, I mean, there was.
What do you mean they didn't know you? I thought you had taken care of the cats other times. Other times.
We have. And it was
Both
the
times
same.
they ran away.
It's
Like
not
they
like
don't.
they came up to greet us and like,
Okay.
oh, you're here. It's,
They don't come up. To,
They don't, they
they're
just
not
kinda-
a dog.
Okay, no,
Like,
I understand that, but you didn't kill any pets the other time, so I'm wondering
Yeah.
how it happened this time. You put one on resuscitation and the other one, like, how'd this happen?
The one cat that did actually die was extremely overweight for a cat, and it was
older.
It was an older
And
cat.
she had told us prior to leaving that the cat was already kind of sick and not feeling too well.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, and also.
Did you say to them the cat's sick and wasn't feeling well before you left?
No, ma'am, all the cats had physicals right before we left.
Okay, so they're absolutely bold-faced lying about the fact that they just said, that you had told them that that cat wasn't feeling well and was
That's correct.
sick. They're just completely lying about
That's
that.
correct.
Wow. Okay.
As far as the fleas go, she had said in there, like, if you see fleas, treat them with Frontline.
Okay, what does it say about Frontline?
It said to give it to them if we saw fleas. She had said that they had already had their dose. She never told us to, like, give them a dose of Frontline. She said brush them if you get the chance.
Did you brush them? I mean, one cat was anemic from all the fleas sucking the blood.
I mean, I've never had fleas in my life. Like, we don't have pets at home, so
I'm not-
like I don't know how
you
we're
gave the
supposed
cats
to.
the fleas. I'm saying, you know, I don't think her premise is that you brought fleas in a purse and put them on the cat, or
Right.
that you are flea-infested people who brought fleas
Right.
into the house. I think her premise is that you were supposed to be taking care of the pets, and that there was obvious evidence of an issue that needed to be addressed, and you didn't address it, and that's where the negligence
Well, we
lies.
weren't. She didn't tell us to, like, check for fleas, and we weren't checking.
You just said she told you if there was evidence
If
of
we-
fleas.
She said
if you
if we
blindfold,
saw
so if you
them.
don't see it, then don't worry about it. I mean, that
Well,
you know.
she said that she had given them the Frontline prior to leaving. We didn't see any when we were there. I didn't have any flea bites. I brought Raven's little girl.
Well, how
over a
much time were
couple
you
times.
spending around there? Who
I
was
was-
taking care of the animals?
At
You
first,
or you?
At first, it was both of us. I started working 2 jobs. I had told Priscilla this before she left, that I was going to be transitioning jobs, so Patrick would be the one that was coming over to take care of the animals. She said that was fine because he was there, and that's why he came over with me to go through the house. So he was towards the end of the month, he was the one who was over there. I actually hadn't been over there.
Towards the end of the month means what? How many weeks did you leave your boyfriend in charge of this?
about a week and a half.
A week and a half.
And welcome back to the People's Court. So, if this defendant saw these cats basically having the blood drained out of them by fleas, does she have a duty to do something about it?
Yeah, she definitely had a duty.
Yeah, get them out of there. She's getting paid.
No, does she have a duty to, like, say, take the cats to the vet?
Absolutely. She should have contacted the plaintiff, told them what was going on, and taken the cats to the vet.
You agree?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, going inside the courtroom.
What you said to the police, according to the police report, is for the last 2 weeks he took care of it.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, because your step-grandmother ended up calling the police, correct?
Yeah, she went to a detective in the Upper Arlington Police and was trying to charge us with animal cruelty charges. So at that time, I was waiting to see what was going on with that before I did anything.
And what did go on with that?
Nothing. She said, if you just pay me this, we'll let everything go. And I was like, well, that's extortion. You can't ask to drop a criminal charge. You can't ask for money. After the fact, I have the contracts that she drew up that's
Did you sign them?
No.
How come?
Because I don't agree to what's in them. She charged us for cleaning supplies for her house, which, I mean, when we got there, there's dust this thick. Like, cleaning supplies wasn't for us.
Let me
cleaning
see the
stuff-
documents that she typed up. Do you have a copy of the police report?
Yes, ma'am.
May I have that? How did this bird survive if they weren't feeding the bird? They had to have been feeding the bird.
No, I made up these packets, and I made them up one for each day for the bird, to be fed to the bird, and only 4 of them were used for the entire month.
How was
And-
that?
There was more than that used. We did every other day. The bags, it was the sandwich baggies were completely full of seed, and the bird wouldn't eat one,
This is
so we
one
would
of
do
the
it every
bags.
other. We would do it every other
bags
day.
are used every other day.
Because in addition to that, he had fruit.
You tell the police we were left money to buy more fruits and vegetables for the bird, and we purchased those items. He tells the police, nah, I got them from the...
I gave the money to him, so I thought that he went.
She
and
said
did
the
them.
cats are puffy, so it'd be hard to see how skinny they were.
Yeah, they have
And
their
her,
Persian cats.
Her home is a bit out of order. She hypothesized, this being you, she hypothesized that the victim might be losing mental function due to her age and that could account for her very emotional response to the situation.
No, I said she's...
That's what the police officer says you said.
What I said to him was she is a little off, which I still agree with.
Do you have any idea how vile that sounds, what I just read? That you have the nerve to say that the problem is she's a hoarder in her own house.
That's not what I said.
And that she's elderly and therefore she's overreacting to a dead cat.
I didn't say
and a cat
that, though.
whose blood has been sucked out of it to the point where it's severely anemic, according to the vet.
That's not what I said. What I had said was we didn't go looking for the cats because we couldn't find them in her house. And I didn't say that she was a hoarder.
That's not what the cop says. What the cop says, he says all that somewhere else. But what I'm talking about is the incredible disdain you have for what you put these people through. That's what I'm talking about. So when I'm talking about that, don't try to shift the focus somewhere else. Because at the end of the day, you guys behaved incredibly irresponsibly. You said you'd do something, and you have to do it. Whether you're getting physically paid for it or whether you're working off a debt to her, you have to do it. That's what happens. And they leave town, and not only that, they have left you the number of neighbor after neighbor after neighbor who has keys to the house, who if you couldn't make it there, instead of lying and saying, I used the $10 to buy vegetables, and lying and saying, yeah, I made it, okay, you could have called the neighbor, and the neighbor would have gone over there. The neighbor wrote an affidavit saying, I was horrified. I never saw them over there. I figured that we were just had bad schedules. Another neighbor wrote another affidavit saying I was driving by there looking at the property to see how things were, and not once did I ever see a car out there. Okay, no. You're done talking, and now it's my turn. It is very clear to anybody who looks at this that you guys didn't do what you were supposed to do. Because if you had done what you were supposed to do, there wouldn't be a dead cat and a severely blood-sucked cat. There wouldn't be fleas hopping all over the place. There would have been more attention to what it was that was going on. All right? You didn't do what you were supposed to do. It is animal cruelty. You ended up getting lucky, not because the prosecutor didn't think it was animal cruelty, but because she wanted to get paid. So for some reason, this police officer said to her, you got to pick civil or criminal. You don't have to pick civil or criminal. You can go both ways. There's absolutely no reason for them to have dropped the case. But she said, well, I guess if you're going to make me pick, I'm out a lot of money, and I want to go ahead and pursue my civil remedy. That's why it got dropped, not because what you did was an animal cruelty. Okay? As for the $600 for the Jeep, here's the situation with that. You have a deal with the father. He's the grown-up. She's not the grown-up, okay? I realize that she's 18 now, but your deal is with the father. You need to sue the father for those $600. As for everything else, I am ordering both of you to pay her for it, and it's $1,248.48.
Well, first out of the courtroom after that testimony, the verdict is the defendant. Come on in here. What's your reaction to how this went down and how you looked in there about the condition of those animals?
I think everything is ridiculous. I mean, we were there every day. The cat was old, and I mean, we were there. We didn't check the cats every day because they were hiding. So I mean, it's not like we could go like searching for the cats, but.
So you still don't admit any culpability here? You still don't think you did anything wrong?
I was at the house. I did my job. I fed those pets, changed the litter box. I did what I had to do.
All right. Okay. All right. You head right down that way, and let's see what the plaintiff side of things is here. Come on in a little bit more, and what are you feeling here?
Well, I wish Raven the best. I hope she's learned a lesson here.
Mm-hmm. Were you trying to teach her a lesson, or? I mean, you can't bring Newman back.
No, I can't bring Newman back, but I don't hold anything against Raven and Patrick. I wish them the best.
What do you think if Newman could speak, what would Newman say to them?
Newman wishes Raven had shown him the respect that we've shown her in the past.
All right. Harvey, what do you got?
Okay, when you are house sitting for somebody, you still have a duty to use due diligence in taking care of that person's pets. And in this case, clearly the defendants violated that duty. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.